Hi, Chef AJ here, and the theme for today is apples. You remember the saying, an apple a day will keep the doctor away? I think it's more like a salad a day might keep the doctor away. But I got this song stuck in my head. I was playing this game with Alexa. Oops, shoot. If you say her name, she sometimes wakes up, called Song Quiz, and I'm at level 20. It's really fun, and I was playing the 60s decade, and two songs came up that I actually knew the title to. One was by Reverend O.C. Smith, who I actually knew personally. He was actually a mentor of mine. The song was God Didn't Make Little Green Apples, and right after that, the song Apples, Peaches, Pumpkin Pie came up, so I'm thinking it's a sign that I gotta do something with apples, and I'm going to be making apple pie rice pudding and air-fried apples with a peach whipped cream. It's so delicious, especially if you need a last-minute dessert, at least for the apples that are going in the air fryer. The apple pie rice pudding, you probably have to think about, maybe 20 or 30 minutes before you make it, but it's such an easy dessert to make. It's from my book, The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss, and I make it all the time because it's great for dessert. It's great for breakfast instead of your usual oats, and it's good hot, cold, or at room temperature. And the best part is it's made with leftover rice. When I tell you guys stuff like that, I cook grains and I freeze them, I'm not just saying that to hear myself talk. I really do that. Oops, that's a beep for something. Oh, I don't know. But anyway, that is because I really do make these recipes over and over. My favorite ones, like the Chipotle bean burger or the apple pie rice pudding, both which call for 4 cups of leftover rice. And sure, you could make it when you're going to do it, but isn't it just easier to pull it out of the freezer? So hopefully this really is 4 cups. We shall see. Could you get a close-up of this, please? This is the 3-quart baby iPot, Instant Pot electric pressure cooker. This is the tiny one. I really love this one, and this will fit this recipe. This won't fit a lot of my soup recipes, but in the pressure cooker I have 3 cups of non-dairy milk. I'm using almond milk. You can use any kind you want. And then I'm going to add 4 cups of the cooked rice. I am using brown rice. This actually looks to be like a short grain. I think this was from my housewarming party, come to think of it. But you can use any kind you want. I just prefer the brown ones, and this looks to be like almost a cup. I'm just gonna pour it in. I usually do always freeze it in 4-cup things. And I will reuse this bag over and over again. And then I'm going to add a cup of golden raisins. I prefer golden raisins to the purple raisins. I just think they're sweeter. So if it's a dessert recipe especially. So put that in there. A little bit of rice was in here. Okay, so now my spice. I love this company called Local Spicery. They have a whole bunch of SOS-free spices, and I love the pumpkin pie spice and the gingerbread spice. I love them both. I can't decide which one to use. You can certainly just use regular cinnamon. Wow, they smell good. I might do half. Wow, this is a tough decision. This is a tough one. I think I'm gonna do half and half. Just do a little spice speedball. I love their spices. They're really good. Pepperoni's my favorite. So a tablespoon. And we'll use this again for our other apple recipe. And a little vanilla powder if you can. Get one that doesn't have sugar or weird stuff in it. Do a half a teaspoon. It does make a little bit of difference, but if you can't, you can't. And then the apples. I love this tool because it chops the apples all perfectly the same size. And I need 4 cups, and guess what? This is 4 cups. Very easy to use this. And I pour it all in. How easy is that? My mom used to make rice pudding on the stove, and it took forever. So all I'm gonna do is push this manual button for 5 minutes. And of course, we will come back always and show you what it looks like when it's done. Then I'll get to my next recipe. This really did happen. It was some last minute company that we didn't expect, and we didn't have dessert. So this is what I did. You can always make the brownies from my book Unprocessed. That's a very quick last minute dessert. These are delicious air-fried apples. Now, you can do it in the oven, but it's gonna take an hour. If you do it in the air fryer, it's gonna take about 20 minutes. My mom used to always make baked apples in the fall, but why can't you have them in the summer? They're healthy, they're delicious. When you cook your fruit, just like when you cook your vegetables, it gets really sweet and caramelized. And by cutting them in half, we're really cutting down on the cooking time. So how do you do that? You just take an apple. I'm using the small ones because they cook faster, and I'm using my favorite variety, the sweetest that I know of, which is called the Envy. Cool little tool from Pampered Chef. It's an apple corer. You just stick it in the core, and then it comes out really easily, and then you just cut it in half. And then you fill up your air fryer tray, and then you can sprinkle them with your favorite spice. So I'm probably going to use a little of each. Now these will look brown and burned, but it's not that it's burned, it's just that the spice, whether it's cinnamon or any of these spices, will turn it a color. So I'm putting the gingerbread on. Oh wow, this smells amazing. The quality of their spices, it's not like the ones in your store. I believe they have a code, AJ, but I'm not sure. I'll use a little of the pumpkin pie. There's such a difference quality makes, I'll tell you, especially if I'm eating it. I want it good. So this will probably fall through. So again, I always do everything at 400 for 20 minutes, and then if I feel it needs more time, I'll just add more time. And these are great, just hot out of the air fryer. They're great cold. They're use them the next day in oats, so I'm just going to stick them in the air fryer. Air fryer is always set to 20 minutes. It just knows 400 at 20 minutes. I never have to change it. And any fruit can be air fried. Bananas, plantains, peaches. You could also grill them. I have some videos on YouTube where I've showed you how to grill peaches, but man, air fryer is great. So let's make a little whipped cream. I believe I showed you on one of my YouTubes how to make pear whipped cream. But what about peach whipped cream? You want to get peaches in their own juice or in white grape juice, unsweetened. Our Trader Joe's has this in 25-ounce glass, which I prefer because I reuse these. I cook for, not professionally, but I want everyone to eat healthy. So as gifts to my neighbors, I make my barefoot dressing or my honey mustard dressing, and I give them to them in these jars because when I put them in the dishwasher, the label comes off. So I'm going to use the whole thing of peaches. Half a cup of oats, half a teaspoon of vanilla powder. This is the brand I'm using, Wild Vanilla Powder. And we're going to 10-second whipped cream. And by the way, this will thicken as it chills, and come back and show you what everything looks like when it's done. So the apple pie rice pudding finished. It came up to pressure, and then I got busy, so now it's 28 minutes later, but it's still under pressure. So this is a really cool thing to release the pressure. Oh, it's probably, well, it's too late now. It came down to pressure naturally. But what this diverter does is it doesn't ruin your ceiling and your cabinets. It has the steam go out both sides. Anyway, so there is our rice pudding. And get a spoon, stir it up. Oh, look, this whole house smells like one giant apple pie. So good. And it's so quick. That's why it's called almost instant. So we'll just stir that up. I feel like the Minute Rice commercial. Perfect rice every time. Perfect rice pudding every time. Make sure you do use a sweet apple though. Even if you can't get the Envy, use like a Honeycrisp or a Gala, because if you use a green apple, it's not going to be very sweet, and there is no sweetener in this recipe. That said, if you're somebody eating the standard American diet, you may not find this sweet enough. So what I would do is put about 4 tablespoons of date paste in. Boy, this is actually creamier than usual because I use the short grain. Usually I'm using the Texmati, and it's still good, but boy, this is really pudding. So I actually had to add 10 minutes to the air fryer. 20 minutes at 400 was not enough for my liking, so these went for 30 minutes. And then what I like to do is I like to transfer them to a pretty plate for serving. And then I can dollop each one with whipped cream. Sometimes I'll just take an apple and really thinly slice it and garnish it like that. But I always try to make a presentation as pretty as possible. That was my favorite class in culinary school. Unfortunately, to take it, I had to skip all the business classes, which in hindsight wasn't probably the best idea. And so we have these, and I'm just gonna plate one of them right now with a little bit of this whipped cream. It turns out that peaches are a lot more watery than pears. Pears are a harder fruit. So I had to add an extra half cup of oats to get it to thicken up. So let's just put a little bit. You could also put banana nice cream on this. You can also put a little more whipped cream on the plate. People love whipped cream. Kind of making it a little messy. And you can sprinkle it with cinnamon on top. So that's one thing. And so with rice pudding, what I like to do is make a parfait. So we'll put a scoop of the rice pudding in a pretty glass, a scoop or two. Let's push that down. You need a spoon. I don't usually do this when this is piping hot like this, but I just want to show you the idea. And a little bit of layers of whipped cream. And then another scoop of rice pudding. Boy, I can't wait to dig into this. Whoa. Nothing like a parfait. Whoa, look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? And then a little sprinkle of cinnamon. I mean, who wouldn't want to eat that? But you know what they say? The proof of the pudding literally is in the eating. It's really good. Don't wait until fall to try these delicious apple desserts. I hope you enjoy them.